Welcome to the third video in my Making the Ticket to Ride Legends of the West campaign replayable series. Before we begin, I will give a spoiler alert because I will be talking about game elements. And if you don't want to have those game elements spoiled, then this video is not for you. However, if you are like me and you want to make your Ticket to Ride Legends of the West campaign replayable, then welcome. In this video, we will be going over unboxing some of the things I did for the game setup, the campaign box, and the rulebook. So unboxing. When you first open up the game box, you will find this sheet which gives you directions on how to start the game setup. One of the things it tells you is to punch out the coins, which come in denominations of $20, $10, $5, $2, and $1. The directions say to put them all into this little area here marked with the letter C. I found this to make setup harder because then you had to get all the coins out and you had to sort through them before you could start gameplay. So that is where these little plastic cases came in handy. I was able to separate out each coin because there's a lot of them. And then just with a Sharpie, I wrote which is on which container. For the game setup elements, each player has a company box that is corresponding to the color of their trains. Each box has an office and a vault. On the back of the company box is where it has a list of all the games and the years that those games are played in, the trains, the amount of trains you get for each year, and this space here is for where you write your end total for each game. If you're playing the game and you want to replay the campaign again, writing on this means that you can't reuse it. So I went into Microsoft Excel and I created my own little list. This here has all of the games, it has the year, it has how many trains, and then it has a spot where you can write down your total. And it's the same size as the one on the back of the box. Then all you do is at the end of each game, you store this in your office. Another element of the game is the campaign box. This box is where you will store all of your various and sundry cards that you will get throughout the game. The game comes with the dividers for train cards, tickets, events, storeroom, post office, and the dead letter office. The rules direct you to put a lot of the cards into the storeroom, but they didn't give you dividers for anything. And I found as I added cards and stuff to the storeroom, it was hard because I have to plot the stack of cards and I've got to go sorting through everything to get everything divided into each different compartment for the elements that you're playing. So I created my own dividers. I used this here as a template, and then on cardstock, I traced out 25 of these things. And so I will explain to you how I went through and what ones I created. I also created my own dividers for the 1901 rules of my own game. So these are the divider templates that you would want to make. You'll need one for the story deck, one for bank slips, one for company bonus cards, and one for newspaper cards. With the way the campaign is set up, the dead letter office divider is where you put cards that are retired from the game and will no longer be used. But since I plan on playing the campaign again and again, I wanted to make some dividers for the dead letter office. So I made dividers for dead story cards, dead events, dead tickets, and dead postcards. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking there's nowhere near 25 divider cards, and you would be correct. The rest of the divider cards will come up as I go through the rest of the videos. The last thing that we are going to cover in this video is the rule book. The rule book, as you will notice and you open through it, has spots where you are going to stick rule stickers. As you play the game and you go through the story deck is going to have you go to the post office and collect certain postcards. Those postcards are stickers that you're then supposed to unstick and to stick onto these rules, and those become the new rules that you follow. There's a lot of rule pages here. A whole heck of a lot of rule pages, which I found to be awkward to have to try and go through and flip through just to see and get your rules. And as you notice, it's falling apart. Well, this is where if I want to play the campaign again and again, I don't want to be sticking the stickers into here because then I can't use it again. This is where my old deck of cards came into play, because I peeled off the sticker and I stuck it onto here. And then on the back, I stuck the information so then I would know where to put the rule card when I was done so that I could replay the campaign again. But like I said, and then what I did, get ahead of myself, is I made a photocopy of all of the rule books so then I could take and paper clip each of these rules onto it. I found that to be a little awkward and hard to do, and I figured there had to be a better way of doing this. So I created my own little rule sheet. I went in and I printed out game setup with a little checklist here on the side, which is where my little dry erase marker comes in handy, because then I can check off each thing as we do a game setup. I also got the game end rules over here, and again a little checklist where I can check things off. And then down here I have all of the game rules that you collect throughout the game. And you'll notice I've got blank spots where there's also Velcro stuff. I then printed off little Velcro sheets that has the rule on it, and it also has where the rule came from. And that's where these little baggies come in handy, because then I can keep the rules in there. The rules that come with Frontier boxes, I keep just in the Frontier box. So as we're going through, I can just pull out one of these and stick it on as we go, because I found the more you play the campaigns, the more familiar you are with the rules, and you really don't end up needing these things anymore. I usually just leave them where they're at or in their Frontier box, and I don't need to pull them out anymore. Because what I also did is I made my own little rule book, and this is where you're going to need your sheet protectors. Your sheet protector for this, so you can dry erase marker on it, but to make your own little rule book. This here is just information sheet that's useful to have. And then of course I've got your game setup rules, game play rules, and game end rules. And these are all just the rules I typed up off of the rule card stickers that you're going to get, and formatted in a nice, easy way that you can then open it up and read it, and you're not having to flip through 10 different pages.